Ooh, okay. Can you hear the cars? My name's Sebastian, and we are currently in our Costco greenhouse. We got this greenhouse back in July of last year, so we've had it for about a year and a half now, and it's gone through it. It's gone through a few things, but if you're watching this, chances are that you are interested in this Costco greenhouse. You have this Costco greenhouse already, or you have a greenhouse and you're trying to figure out how it's gonna be. So let's go through a few things that I've learned in the year and a half of having the greenhouse and some things to take into consideration moving forward. So never having grown up with a greenhouse or knowing anybody who's had a greenhouse, I assumed that the greenhouse would keep its temperature. It actually loses all of its heat at night, and that is something that I didn't know. Greenhouses during the day usually have a temperature about 20 degrees hotter than it is outside. So during the winter, if we're in the 50s during the day, it's about 70 in here, and at night it'll drop down to 29. For the plants, for it to go from 29 to 70 in here was not good. They were not having fun in here. ¿Qué más? So there are certain climates that you need a greenhouse for, and there's certain climates that don't require a greenhouse at all, and I am of the latter. Where I'm at in the high desert in Southern California, it gets really hot in here. It gets really, really hot, and our winters get pretty cold. Our soil does freeze, and we do get snow maybe like one day out of the year. During the summer, this greenhouse is not really a functioning greenhouse. It becomes more of a shade house, which is why we have all these drapes around right here to block the sun. And I also have one in front. It's a shower curtain, but it's a cute one that I was given on my birthday. So it's right there in the front. The Costco greenhouse also has a vent. So when it's hot, it automatically opens because it's one of those wax ones that will expand during a certain temp, which would allow the thing to open. But mine actually broke during the spring because where I live, it gets super windy. So around May, I think it was hot in here. It opened and the winds kind of jiggled it until it broke off. Another thing to think about when you have your greenhouse is where you're gonna place it. We put ours under a tree. Our greenhouse is facing west, and the back is the east, which is why the sun is behind me right now. It's rising. And it's recommended that the long parts of the greenhouse are facing the north and the south. So that's what we did. I don't know, I think because it's hot over here, we might have benefited from it being the other way with the short ends facing the north and the south. Maybe just to get a little less sun during the summer, but I don't know. This thing's too big to move, so it is what it is. But it is currently under a tree. The tree is on this side. So when the sun comes up during the summer, it does get shade for a big chunk of the morning, and then it sets this way and the sun just blasts this way. So it gets pretty warm in here. Anyway, those are some things that I'm trying to figure out. Trying to keep the sun from burning the plants during the summer, but also trying to keep the plants warm during the winter. So, but now I'm here and this place has been neglected because life happens. So I need to find ways to kind of automate these things. I do have the ability to put a drip system in here, and I have a hose, not a hose, but I have a pipe down here that I would need to extend to create the drip system, but that's another time. But that'll really help with the watering during the summer because, you know, if it gets too hot, at least I'll know that the plants are being watered. Because sometimes I just don't have the time. This shade cloth is gonna stay here. It really helps with keeping everything cool. And during the winter, like, it still gets kind of hot in here. It gets about 10 to 20 degrees hotter in here than it is outside. So I don't mind this. I think I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna leave it for the winter too. I wanna wash them. I'm gonna wash everything because it gets dirty in here. So everything in here is dirty. I had to keep the door completely opened after this broke to make sure that the greenhouse didn't get too hot. Okay, now that I got all that stuff out of my system, the reason I'm here is because we're going to show this greenhouse some TLC because it's been through some neglect this past year. I think little by little, I'm gonna try to get it prepared for the coming spring and summer. A few months away, but spring and summer are gonna come by like faster than you realize. Because it's getting colder, I'm gonna start keeping the door closed. And by keeping the door closed, that means I need to fix this vent thing. Luckily, Yardistry, which is the company that makes this greenhouse, sent me a replacement for free. I didn't know that Yardistry has a 5-year warranty on this greenhouse. I don't know the specifics of that. I just went on their website. I filled out a form that asked what piece I needed, and they emailed me almost right away. And the customer service was awesome because it was very quick. They asked for the receipt. I sent them the receipt, and immediately after they said, okay, we're shipping this out to you, FedEx. I'm like, okay. I was completely under the impression that I was gonna have to pay for this thing because you have to pay for everything always. But you know, they're in Canada and they're very awesome. Very awesome. I don't really know too much about what the warranty covers. I know my front door is warped from all the cold and the heat. It doesn't close all the way properly. I don't know if they'll send the whole door over, but I don't know. I guess Yardistry, if you're seeing this, will you send me a new door? Because mine doesn't close anymore. It's warped. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Let's fix this thing. This is the part of mine that broke, and it comes with screws. So let's do that. Oh. Ugh. Okay. I did that wrong. That was me. That was on me. Okay, for context, this is the broken piece. It's supposed to do one of these things, but you can see that I guess the wind like shook it to the point where it just like broke off, but there's that. The only thing about installing this is that it does need to be cold, because if it's hot, this will expand and it will be hard for you to put this piece in. So, you know, it does say in the instructions that if it is hot, if it is expanded, to put it in the freezer for a little bit. It is cold right now, so everything's fine. Okay. So that's gonna go like that. And I think I could be very, very wrong. I think I'm right, actually. This part, you install it first. Always read the instructions, but this part you install first, so you're not up here like me trying to figure out this whole situation. There it is. Right. So now when it gets to a certain temperature, this is going to automatically open on its own. So we'll see. So far, so good. So the vents on top is fixed now. Thank you, Yardistry. Had I known about the 5-year warranty, I'm sure it's on the box somewhere and I missed it. But had I known that the 5-year warranty was gonna cover this, I would have done it a lot sooner. It's fixed. I can keep the door closed because the temps are starting to drop. So it all works out. I do have to cut this video short. There was a lot I wanted to talk about. Do some housekeeping. I wanted to wash the shade cloths and do all the things, but you know, I ran out of time. So I think that's gonna have to be for another video. But if you made it this far, my name is Sebastian. I make plant content, indoor, outdoor. I post whenever I can, but I am mostly active on TikTok and Instagram. Again, whenever I can post. I love plants, but when I can get to them. So anyway, like and follow, subscribe, do all the things if you want. And if you're interested in other plant content, other plant projects that I've done, feel free to check these out. Okay. So many cars.